Oh, here we are entering 60 pups that were born. And half of those will not make it. Just because of the survival of the fittest. And also, there's predators that like to eat those wolves, those little baby wolves. A coyote will come in and take out a wolf like you can't believe. Restored that population back in the early 20s, 26, something like that, 1926 or so. And it's restored it, and now look at it. It's a very, very, very healthy population. Now the controversy, as I mentioned before, is that Native Americans are able to slaughter or kill these bison as they leave the park. And now the park is suggesting that they can take some of these bison to slaughter because if there's overpopulation, then the cascade effect would happen there. And so it's very controversial, but about 800 bison a year are killed coming out of Yellowstone, and primarily they come out in Gardner, Montana, because it's an easier route to get to Gardner than any other place. And in Paradise Valley and in the Gardner area, they can come down and they don't have to work as hard for their food. So they come out of the park in the wintertime because of grazing, and it's easier to graze, and then they go back into the park in the summertime because the ground is pretty raw. By the time the winter's over, of course, they're coming back in, and they make their way back into the park. So we are coming into the Midway Geyser Basin, and this little Gibbon River right here actually stops, and it turns in at a certain point to the Firehole River. The Firehole River is where most of the geysers and most of the hot springs run into it, and it's warm. You used to be able to swim in it, but now only one spot you can swim in, and I'll point that out in the morning. So we're coming into the geyser basins. This area was flattened out by the glaciers as well, and the glaciation was not as deep here, and it didn't pick up as many rocks because you really don't see that much evidence of those glacial erratics that I talked about yesterday. So this is a very beautiful area. This creek right here is called the Nez Perce Creek, named after the Nez Perce Indians that came through here and actually outsmarted the Army, and I'll tell that story. That might be a tomorrow story. We did cross that. If you're looking, following the map, we came through Madison and we took a left, and now we're going right along down through there. And so we're entering the Lower Geyser Basin, Midway Geyser Basin, and Upper Geyser Basin areas. So this is the most activity that you'll see in the world, right in through here. Oh, the next country would be Iceland. We've got about half of the geothermal features right here in Yellowstone, and then the rest of the world has the other half with ice. If you ever get a chance to go to Iceland, it's absolutely beautiful over there. And that's a lot more ice, and it's more accessible in the wintertime, and it's absolutely beautiful. So this is the road that if you're on a snow coach, coming into the park, some people come in from West Yellowstone, which is over at the west entrance, and some people come in from Mammoth Hot Springs. So this on the right hand side would be the Lower Geyser Basin, and we're going to hit this on the way back today. We're going to go straight for Midway Geyser Basin, and there's a bison right there.
I think I accidentally got him on camera.
All right, so a couple of things that I need to tell you before we get out at Geyser, at the Midway Geyser, Grand Prismatic Spring, is don't wear a hat, because it's typically windy here, and the hats will be lined up on the outside of the boardwalk. The National Park Service has to come in once a week, and they have thousands and tens of thousands of hats. If you don't want to take your hat off, you better have it on tight. today there might not be any wind, but almost every time I'm here, for some reason, there's wind. So you can see the effects on the trees here of that calcium carbonate. So eventually, a tree might be growing here, and then a hot pot comes up and it kills the trees around it. So that tree might stay standing for 50 years after it's dead. And then it'll eventually decompose and it'll fall. So that's what we'll see. That's what that is at the bottom of the trees.
Pekla, pekla. Кипит. Около 200 градусов дегри.
Яна, давай сюда.
We got different color of the bacterial mats that are underneath. So when you see blue like you do out there in the middle,
Yes.
that's the hottest hot spring. Okay, that's the hottest. And then when you come back, it's green, then it gets kind of yellow, backs off to orange, then all these other little orange tones, and that just means the temperature is not as great. And then right here,
What I would expect.
yeah. And so the temperature here is not that hot. Like right there, 59 degrees on the top.
It's associated with Montana State University.
És mikor megyünk, vagy mi a terv? Szépen együtt, most már együtt így csordogálunk lefelé.
J'ai pas compris. J'ai pas compris.
Tu tournes la trajectoire, une fois que tu es en haut.
Give me your case. Okay. Just a silver yes, I see that. Yana, move.
Sunshine.
That's very nice. Sunshine is good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. Long.
It's okay.
No.
What name of this?
Grand Prismatic Spring in the Midway Geyser Basin. You know, of course, in the wintertime, when they get 300 inches, it all seeps back down into the ground.
Is it bacteria?
This is a bacteria mat. Bacterial mat. 300 to 400 inches in Yellowstone.
Snow and all?
400 to 600 in
Bacteria mat.
That would be just the snow, yeah. Now this should be a little hotter here. That's about 93 degrees right there.
Oh my god, another hat. It's like
93. Orange, yeah.
they should have called
Orange
this
93.
Hat World.
Wow.
They should have called this Hat World because there's so many hats. Hat World.
Сфотографируй меня.
Be a geyser too, but now it's
Илья.
dying out. So. I love it. It goes to my heart, and you just kind of pick up things over the years. And the most difficult thing about people trying to interpret Yellowstone is that there's so much, and you've got to weave your stories together. So it takes years and years to be able to get it that way. And every time I do it, I learn something different.
What is this spot?
This is called Turquoise Pool.
Why it's not bubbling? Or there
It's not
is
bubbling because it's not hot enough. Water boils at 199 at high altitude, so it's not that hot. That's not even putting out steam, so that's even cooler.
But color is blue
Color is blue, yeah.
because bacteria.
Basically, yeah.
199 degrees. Wow. Boiling. Because it's high altitude, so there is boiling 199 degrees.
Con để thấy hậu bên ở dinh. Đây là cái máy gấp. What?